we're back here live on the Aaron's High Cap Adventure radio program, and I have a special guest with me. And some people may be asking, well, why do I have my son on the program on a gun show? And I can understand the questioning, but worry not, fret not. There's good reason why, and because it's all connected together. Everything's connected together. But first of all, let me introduce to you my son, Dillon. Welcome to the show again. We've had you on before talking about shoot houses and how you were the acting crackhead and all that kind of stuff. So that's
target practice.
Target practice. And that was great. You can check that video out on my YouTube channel, Aaron's Gun Shop. But today, I got you here today because you're going to France.
I am, yeah. Be studying abroad for 4 months.
That's right. Now, people say, well, big deal. Okay, everybody goes to France or whatever. A lot of people go to France. It's because last week we had our dear friend Mark Bohr, retired Green Beret, on the show talking about traveling abroad. And what I found interesting was you're planning your trip to France, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, Mark, he's always in the wings checking things out.
Imagine Liam Neeson from Taken, and you get Mark.
Exactly. But he's back there in the wings, because he loves you to death, and he always protects you and takes care of you whenever he can. And all of a sudden, bam, he dumps in your lap this whole travel plan. Okay, mm-hmm. So that's why there's the connection. I want to get a human, a live person's reaction to this of Mark's planning for your trip. But first, let's tell everybody who you are, what you're doing, and give a quick little bio on yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Dillon Betros. I am currently a junior at Southwestern University in Georgetown. I'm a foreign language major with a political science minor. So basically all like international relations studies, like all that kind of...
What did you just say? You just went over my head. Yeah, you're a digital watch and I'm a tourist. I'm one of those.
Explains the gray hair.
Man.
I'm sorry.
I'm going
so,
and he's just like computer whizzing it here. Right.
I'm a foreign language major, so French, Spanish, and German.
Now you went from a $1 word to a 75-cent word. I need like 25-cent words, dude.
Okay, so I study foreign languages at Southwestern University. Yeah, it's great.
All right, go ahead.
And then I also study political science, which is just basically like studying like the structure of politics and government and stuff like that. And so my main focus with that is international politics, international relations, and stuff like that. And so for my studies, I have to study abroad, or not really have to, but like all of this information that I can learn in a classroom.
To be the master at your game,
yes,
you need to do this.
Absolutely.
Right? Okay.
And so seeing as my main focus language is French, I'll be studying abroad in France, in Caen, which is in Normandy. And and so I was talking to Mark. Well, Mark asked about what are your plans and all this stuff. So I was getting together, like I was going through like the list of everything that I have to do, because my study abroad program says do X, Y, Z, get your visa, make sure your passport works, all these paperwork and whatnot, because the government hates me. And then Mark said, I'm going to come over and we're going to talk about a few things that you need to prepare yourself with, that your professors and...
No, wait. We got to set this up better. Before he said that, okay, he was over at the house and he's sitting in his normal chair.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and you're sitting across from him and he's listening to you talk, and all of a sudden, this is Mark's body language. All of a sudden, when he likes what he's hearing, he sits up, puts his ass to the rear of the chair, leans over the table, has his arms, he's looking at you with a hunchback towards you, and all of a sudden his right hand fingertips start tapping. He goes, So he's taking it all in. And so you're just telling him basically what's going on, and he leaves.
No.
And then all of a sudden, bam, tell everybody what happened.
He comes back the next week with a giant backpack just full of stuff. Literally, like, sets it out on the table, boosh! And then he starts pulling out all of this stuff. And so he basically gave me a rundown of all of this stuff that, like, even after, like, studying, like, what to do when you're in a foreign country, like foreign culture, like all this stuff, he was pulling out all of these items and like all of this information that's like, hey, no one's gonna teach you this, but you need to know it if you don't want to die. Because like everyone knows that like right now it's a very like testy time to like travel abroad and whatnot, and it like while like there's plenty of safe places in the world, like you can never be too secure in where you're going, and you can never be too safe.
There's no guarantees in the sense of safety. Something can always happen.
Exactly.
So you have to be prepared for
it.
But he not only brought equipment over. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to this, this is going to be recorded. Like I said, going to be playing off the Rockdale station next week. And you heard the premiere show with Mark on there. And everybody here on this station knows Mark from a couple times in the area. People know him and his abilities. He's very capable. He's retired Green Beret, 30 years, 35 years, been around the world, done all sorts of stuff. And he's just got a plethora of information, and it just connects really well with you. So not only did he bring a backpack of stuff, and not necessarily that you would use every single item. He's just saying these are all the different things depending on what you're doing. Then he sent you an email.
Oh yeah.
Talk about that email.
He sent me an email of how to utilize all of like the paperwork, because he brought documents with him such as international vaccination paperwork, information on getting an international driver's license, stuff like that. And so he sent me an email later about all of the things that, like, you need to do when like getting all of this stuff ready and approved, like going to your doctor, like making sure that they sign off on all this paperwork, going to like a AAA office and getting them to just like give you your stamp so you can have this another form of identification while you're abroad, because when you're abroad, identification is key. People need to know who you are in case anything happens. Right. If people don't know who you are, you're just a nameless face and they don't know what to do with you. And so
that's a scary thing.
It's horrifying.
He was when he sent you that email, he was giving you descriptions using Google.
Yeah, he did a full, complete. So there's several cities that I have to travel through to get to the city where I'll be studying at. And so Mark went ahead and found out all of the hotels that I'll be staying at. And he Google Earthed everything. He's like, 30 meters to the left, there's an ATM, and across the street, and then 30 meters to the right, there's going to be a post office. And so you have all of your basic essentials. So it's also really important to figure out where you'll be and like what you can utilize while you're abroad, what's in your general vicinity, so that you can have everything that you need to like stay afloat, to be connected, to not fall behind and get lost in like the scary flow of a foreign country. Mm-hmm. Because it is like another world. When you travel to another country, not only will you may not speak the language, but people have a completely different culture that doesn't match up with yours. So you'll get different cues from people. You won't understand even their body language. Right. It doesn't add up. And so you have, aside from the bare minimum, which is knowing where you're going, understanding at least like how to get basic directional information, and as well as understanding the culture of the people that are there, because those are the people that are hosting you. Those are the people that you're in their country. That's their world.
Now, wouldn't it be nice if you could just have a mental image of where you actually are, as though you've walked the streets, mm-hmm. and you can see how people dress and what's going on down there. We were at his house. Mm-hmm. We were enjoying dinner at the house there, and he took you over to the computer and showed you all the different places, the actual doorways, the stores. And I don't know if anybody's ever been to Barstow, California. I think there's a Winchell's Donut still in the corner. There's a guy there that would always stand there on the corner. I mean, day after day after day. This was back in the 80s, and you'd ask people, late in the 80s, early 90s, hey, is that guy at Winchell still there? And some people say, yeah, I know who you're talking about. We saw one of the pictures. Mm-hmm. There was a guy leaning up against the wall there. I said, watch that guy. So he's by the ATM machine just sitting there.
It's one of the things that Mark was telling me about. So when you go to an ATM, have someone with you watching your back so you can watch theirs when you're getting your stuff. Because literally in this Google Earth image, there's an ATM, and literally 5 meters to like the left of it, there is a guy literally just sitting next to the wall watching the ATM.
Waiting.
And it's like when you go to like international cities, like for example, like Paris or Berlin or stuff like that, like those are international tourist destinations, so a lot of people know like there's going to be a bunch of suckers that will be right for like the picking.
Another thing I want to bring up is that a lot of people travel and they say, well, I've never had a problem. And I want to say it's because you haven't been a mark yet.
Yeah.
If you've never been a mark, and what I mean is that the bad guy picked you out, okay, and you've been having a great time, you've been blessed, okay, very nice. But what if you happen to be the mark this time, and somebody does do something to disrupt your trip? Do you have a fallback plan? Do you know what to do in certain situations? And that's what Mark was getting you ready for. Mm-hmm. And once again, the reason we're talking about this is because on July 15th, I think it's right, July 15th, which would be a Saturday, Mark's having a seminar, a travel seminar. And if you go to my Facebook page, Aaron's Gun Shop Facebook page, and scroll down there, you'll see the blurb on it as to what's it entail, how much it costs to do it. So if you're planning on taking a trip, even if you're a seasoned traveler, a novice, a seasoned, whatever, you still have that potential of becoming the mark. And Mark is excellent in giving you extreme detail, and he'll work out your plan, your trip, and everything from A to Z, and give you some highlights that you may not have even thought about. And I know you had some apprehensions of going over there. How do you feel now after all this that he's given you?
Much more. I feel like much more awake, if that's to say, because like when I was preparing with all of like the visa documents and getting everything ready, that like my study abroad coordinator told me like this is what you'll need, all this stuff. I kept thinking like something's missing here. Like this, I feel like this is too easy. Like there's too like I feel like I'm not prepared enough. And then Mark came up with the giant backpack just full of like everything you need. It was like a leprechaun's at the end of the rainbow.
I use this analogy a lot. If you look at a sidewalk, the sidewalk has large slabs of concrete, and then you've got the little crack dividers. The slabs of concrete are what the travel agent tells you. You can have a great time. They show you the pictures of the brochures of a beautiful beach with the two people walking it, but in reality, there's hundreds of people with umbrellas. They took that picture at dawn or dusk when nobody was there, and it's a false reality. So him giving you this information kind of makes you just up to speed, up to date, and feel more comfortable. You get the information in the cracks as compared to the stuff they give you on the slabs, the general slabs.
Absolutely. Real talk. Not the pretty picture of what everyone says that like, oh, the world's a perfect, happy place, nothing bad happens. Like you need to know. You need to be aware of the reality.
And you're going alone.
Yes, I will be going alone.
Okay, so for the first time overseas, and you know, you're a big guy, you can handle yourself, no problem. Speaking of which, you know, you're going to school, you're taking a lot of things, you're working a lot of jobs, you know, you decided to go to college. Instead of doing like an online program that's probably a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
Going to college is very expensive.
Yeah.
When I went to college, I paid my own way. And when we raised you up, is basically we're going to give you what you need. We'll give you some things you want at Christmas and all that kind of stuff. But in general, you want a car, okay? You got to go get it. You want to go to college, okay? You're going to have to figure out a way to do it. Yeah. And you're hustling. Tell everybody what you're doing.
So during the school year, I work about 4 jobs at the same time. And then during the summer right now, I've got 2 full-time jobs. Well, part-time, but they equals to full-time. And so I'm basically saving up so that I can go abroad and so that I can afford to do what I want to do, which is learn languages and be able to speak to people and communicate and be a bridge between countries. And so that's been a motivation for me in terms of going to Southwestern University, which is really expensive, and learning the things that I need to know so that I can do what I need to do. And so that means busting my butt all the time. Like I have a job at an elementary school where I teach. I work for a martial arts school at a front desk. I am a technician at a theater. I do all sorts of just like crazy, unrelated jobs.
And with all this, what's your grade average?
I've been a Dean's List student every single semester, and I have a 3.8 GPA.
Wow,
which
that's
is
pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're not only do you have a brain that can retain all this stuff, it's incredible how you can remember everything.
Must take after your mom.
What's that?
Must take after your mom.
Yeah, whatever, dude. Okay. It's true, probably. So here you got all these jobs you're working. You got a great grade point average, Dean's List, the whole works, and you're creatively funding yourself. I think you told me you got a GoFundMe page. Why don't you tell everybody in case somebody's interested, they want to help you out, we'll promote you here. Go ahead.
Yeah, so there's this really awesome site and program called GoFundMe, which is basically, it's a site that helps support people for various different reasons, whether it's educational, medical, and other things like that. I have a page called, that's GoFundMe.com/My Study Abroad Journey. And it's basically like, if you would like to help me like pay my way to get to where I need to be so that I can do what I think is a really good thing for the world, seeing as foreign languages in high demand and people need to be able to speak to each other.
Well, there's some people out there who like that and are interested in doing that kind of help. So just tell one more time how they get. You can go to my Facebook page, Aaron's Gun Shop Facebook page, check out the link to his FundMe page, or Instagram, it's there too. Just go to aaronsgunshop.com and you can check it out there. But, you know, if you're interested, if you're that type of person who likes to help people do that, great. He's a hard worker, good student, and all that, so it'd be money well invested. All right, Dillon, we got just about another minute and a half or so. Let's see. What other things you got lined up here? Anything special? You just got your visa, right?
I did. I got my visa in the mail this morning, which is great, which is awesome.
That was a long process in itself.
See, okay. if you do see the consulate, no matter where you're studying abroad, no matter where you're going, if the consulate, you can make this so much easier on yourself if you literally just print off the piece of paper that tells you everything that you need. Every consulate, no matter where you're going, will tell you exactly what documents you need. Get all of those documents, make 3 or 4 photocopies, and then you go to the consulate. You'll have no problem whatsoever, and you're set to go. And you get your visa in I got mine in 2 weeks.
Wow, that's pretty good. Okay, real quick. I don't know if you told us or not. I was too busy interrupting you, but who are you going to be staying with? Have any idea who you're staying with, or is that not figured out yet?
Not yet, no. I'll find that out 3 weeks before I leave. I will be with a host family though, so I'll be with a deeply ingrained in the culture and the language. Which, if anyone's going to be studying abroad, do it with a host family. They really teach you the culture and the interest in. Now,
Intricacies.
there, thank you.
You can speak every other
Yeah,
language.
that word. They can teach you all of that in the language because the language is extremely nuanced. There's all sorts of culture that goes into it, and all sorts of different idioms and expressions that you can't learn from a textbook, and so you learn that from the people that you talk to.
And what actual languages are you studying besides French?
German and Spanish.
German and Spanish, and you touched on a couple others too, right?
Yeah.
Not in depth. And then you were working a little bit on Russian.
Yeah, a little bit.
Then you even mentioned Chinese. I said, "Are you crazy? How do you say you're crazy in Chinese?"
I know how to say hi, how are you, and goodbye.
In Chinese, right? Okay. All right. How close are we to a break?
It's
right?
about time.
That time. Okay. I'll tell you what. In French,
Okay.
why don't you tell everybody? It's nice to be here. Thank you very much. See you later or whatever.
Merci beaucoup tout le monde. Je suis très ravi d'être ici aujourd'hui. À bientôt.
Wow. That is so fluid off the tongue. The women are going to love you. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a break. And on the other side, we'll be doing some patchwork of collecting a lot of information, just giving it to you as much as we can. So we'll see you on the other side.